And this was something that was passed down now through time. So knowing that Freemasonry is Kabbalism, I simply went to a Kabbalist dictionary and looked up 66. Pretty simple. Well, it's the number of the dark side. It's the number of the fallen angels. It's the number of the evil side of magic. And as you take the numbers and you translate or alliterate these numbers, in Hebrew, the letter V equals 6. 6 equals V. Not like Roman. So when you take the 66 and you take it together and you throw it, it becomes W. Of course, in America, we call it a W, when obviously it's a W, a double V. And so it's a 66. But when you take that 66 and you cross those two V's to make a third, it becomes 666, right? Now, I'm not a Christian and I don't follow the Christian path, but I know that these people play upon revelations. When H.W. joined the Skull and Bones, he was given the name Magog. Book W, he was given the name Temporary. You can find all the names that they give upon themselves in the Skull and Bones while they're doing masturbation rituals, talking about their sexual acts, from the Book of Revelations. All of their titles, except for John Kerry. Now, consider this, we had an election between Skull and Bones #1, Skull and Bones #2, and they were cousins. Yeah. I still believe in elections. Skull and Bones was known as Long Devil, and we're not too sure why yet. But as I looked into 66 and I saw, oh my God, okay, here it is, here's the dark side, and whenever they want to bring out the dark side, they encode it with this number, or this letter, W. And I started hearing rumbling in the political spectrum of a W. And I said, okay, now I see it. They forced the man out of office and they discredited the man in Bill Clinton. The next phase is to make us no longer believe in the system. So to force a president into office. And so I said, W, obviously, will be forced into office and he'll be the last American president. And I said this while Clinton was still in office. Next thing I know, here comes W, and he's being railroaded through the political system, and they say it all happened because of Jeb Bush in Florida. Poppycock. This thing has been planned long ago. And if I get into the roots of who this man is, you might be even more interested. But we won't go there yet. So as I tracked this message down through time, and I said, okay, so what is the next step? And obviously the next step was that the next president of America would not be American. And we'll get to that. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. So this is the definition of W. Excrement. And it's even said in the magical books that if you dabble with this power, it'll make you insane. I started noting 666s all over the place. I actually don't have Fox in this, but if you take the only word in English that you can make out of the number 666, you get Fox. And then you got Fox TV, you got Firefox on your internet. F is the 6th letter, O is the 15th letter, 1 and 5 make 6, and X is the 24th letter, 2 and 4 make 6. The only word you can get out of 666 in English is Fox. On top of that, I was able to transliterate Conoco. It equals 666 in a pentagram when you take it to Kabbalism. And then CERN started popping up into the spectrum, and CERN was the one that created the World Wide Web. CERN is the one that gave us all of this wonderful communications that we use. And I happened to notice that their logo was 666 with a hyperdimensional spiral. So I began to look deeper and deeper and starting to understand this story. And the story goes back to Solomon's temple. This is where you go whenever you go to a Masonic ritual. You are pretending to be in Solomon's temple. And you pretend to be this strange character known as Hiram Abiff. And you go through a death and resurrection ritual, and when you're raised back up to the ground, they point your face at a 5-pointed star and they say, "This is Venus. And you're welcome." Venus goes back to this ancient goddess, and in the Hebrew, the goddess is known as the Shekinah. She was the force that was the voice of God that surrounded the Ark of the Covenant at Solomon's temple. They called it the Shekinah. If you asked a Freemason, what is the Shekinah? He would say, it's the cloud of the invisible cloud of brotherhood that surrounds the Masonic altar. They know well what the Shekinah is, because Freemasonry is Kabbalism. Ancient Hebrew mysticism. Well, they put a little play upon that word, and when they attacked Baghdad, they called it the shock and awe, or the Shekinah. And when they came down and they struck Saddam Hussein, who was rebuilding Nebuchadnezzar's palace in Babylon, he was claiming to be Nebuchadnezzar reincarnated. Saddam Hussein had statuary, had paintings commissioned, all showing himself as Nebuchadnezzar. So he's rebuilding Babylon in 1996, and we decided to blow him up with the shock and awe. Now, of course, if you follow Alex Jones or you follow some of the alternative media, you find out that, well, it was the American government that put Saddam Hussein in power in the first place. That's because this is all ritual. This is not warfare. So when the shock and awe came down and struck Nebuchadnezzar, they used the mother of all bombs, which in military acronym is the Moab. Does anyone know who attacked Nebuchadnezzar?
Moab.
The Moabites, absolutely. So all of a sudden we're thinking we're looking at war, but the shock and awe has come down, struck Nebuchadnezzar with the Moabs, which is the very story in the Bible of Nebuchadnezzar. It's ritual. It's not warfare. I found that they started encoding their secret magics into architecture and artwork all around the world. In 1996, once again, very important year to them, which I haven't quite sorted out, but all of this stuff occurred right then. They put this bicentennial mall up in front of the Nashville Capitol in Tennessee. And if you have a look at the actual symbol, it is the shape of Solomon's magical seal. Now, most people think when you talk the Seal of Solomon that we're talking about the Star of David. But you see, Solomon was a master wizard, and he channeled many demons. That's what they call them. And he would cap these demons with seals so that he could keep them under control. So in Nashville, they put up this big park. It's many acres long, and has some very unusual things to it. I'll show you. But what has happened is that now I've taken just this the symbol, the seal that this makes, and this is a big black granite wall. I'll show you a video of it, and just superimposed it with the seal of Solomon to bind spirits. And this park lays upon a Native American burial ground, and right along the wall it says, "Many bodies are interred here." So now we have a secret cabal putting up seals of Solomon as works. Oh, I don't know if there'll be audio. Let's see. Oh, that's not gonna work.
There is magic in names, and the mightiest among these words of magic
Let's
is
see what it is.
It is as this vision of a lost culture touched the most hidden thoughts of our soul.
I'll just give you the live version.
Known as the Athens of the South, in 1897, Nashville constructed an exact replica of the ancient Grecian Parthenon. The Parthenon appears to have been constructed as a celebration of the creation of mankind. Icons of industry, men of renown have left secrets of their mystery religion encoded in alchemical books of stone, transmitting knowledge from our ancient past to those who today have the eyes to see. The portals of the Parthenon depict an epic battle between the Athenians and the Atlanteans. A council of gods determines the fate of man. Athena shakes her spear